Hello everyone and welcome. You're watching your favorite Iron Port, the #1 current affairs television program that talks about all things maritime in Ghana. It is brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Iron Port is powered by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, this week we explored the role of digitization in trade facilitation and how Ghana can further integrate digital tools to enhance its trade environment. We spoke with two representatives from the International Chamber of Commerce Ghana on the back of their visit to the MPS Terminal 3, where I am right now. This is an excerpt of that discussion. Take a listen.
Well, I would want you to walk us through the benefits that trade facilitation has brought that digitalization has brought to trade facilitation in Ghana's maritime and logistics sector. Indeed, initially you mentioned the benefits of ICOMS.
Yeah.
And also we can also talk about ease of doing business, convenience, plugging the loopholes and, increased revenue and all that. What are some of the other benefits that accrues to the sectors, that's the maritime and logistics sectors, in trade facilitation?
I think the most recent one is actually from MPS, that what seemed impossible to do, that is setting a target so high that really is a target. They literally outperform their own target. Okay, so all these elements that you mentioned right now, they actually causing the maritime domain to actually do better than they forecasted. And so what it's actually doing is giving investors a lot of confidence. What does that mean? It means that for the country as a whole, a new interest is going to rise for the country.
Right.
Because these guys are outperforming. And this is even not the entire package yet. They are now going to phase 2. So you can imagine if all the phases are executed, it's going to be so. I take it at first they get in the efficiency, the productivity, and of course the revenue and all that. But in addition to that, it's creating investor confidence,
right?
In the country, which is a big plus. Okay. Now, in general, if we want to talk about the value that it's creating. Like I mentioned, between 2019 and 2024, I think, mobile money alone, the transaction, almost 2 trillion.
Yes.
That's no joke.
Yeah.
Okay, so these things, and we're just talking about it, even people in the village know how to do Momo.
Momo, yeah, that's right. Sure.
And that is now affecting the mobile penetration.
Yeah.
So even if you don't know how to use a phone, you gotta know how to. And this means that if the country wants to communicate, access its people, you know that even the old woman in the village will be accessed. So the benefits are really enormous, and it's really left to us to determine how far we wanted to go. Yeah. And personally, I'm just thinking that we should use this highway, to deploy many services. Right now, Singapore's economy, maybe it's 4 or 5 times.
Right.
$501 billion.
Right.
Okay. I see the possibility of using digitalization to rake in more value in terms of numbers.
Right.
Okay, and it's not just for the state, but the more we do, we're also able to create more jobs. Okay, because we want the agri sector to grow. We need investment. How are you going to get the money? Okay, if we begin to run, let's say FDA, okay, with all the portfolio they have, we can be raising so much money from FDA. Okay, we can look at DVLA. Okay, there are a lot of vehicles moving on the road. They are not even roadworthy, and some of them are not even insured.
Yeah.
Okay, but they go day in and day out.
Yeah.
How is it we don't know? we can easily have systems
Yeah.
that can tell us the car just to move now, that is not, it doesn't pass,
Yeah.
one, and it's not even insured. Police, get them. And you can do this thing so fast that, and the police is not going to prolong this thing. You know, look, there is a body camera, straight away, everything the police says or does is captured.
Yes.
The fine is there, the system detects it. It goes to your car owner. In fact, in Singapore, what I like is they take the money instantly from the bank account of the car owner, straight away. You know, so really we can stretch it.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, we need that team that sits down and say, guys, let's see how do we maximize this for the country.
Yeah.
You know, so that's all.
Okay, so in terms of digitalization, there was this announcement by the current roads minister, I guess, and the NDC administration, the current one, about reinstatement of tolling on our roads and all that.
Yeah.
And people think that, okay, one of the concerns was the delays because it was manually done, and so you'd have to queue in traffic and all that. And so people are of the opinion that if this is going to happen, why don't we deploy technology, digitalization, so that we don't waste time.
Exactly.
You know, on the roads.
Exactly.
And that would be an excellent thing. One, it will plug the loopholes where people take so much money and go and declare.
Yeah.
And then two, it makes it faster. I mean, you don't delay, you don't have to queue.
Yeah.
And all that. What do you think? What should we be doing if this is actually going to happen?
The good news is that these technologies have already been implemented. I was in a taxi. The driver was trying to take a lane.
Right.
I mean, I thought it's interesting. We are driving on a lane, deciding to change the lane, he will have to pay. For that lane, you pay.
Yes.
Because it gives you a privileged access to certain territories. Immediately he took the turn, an RFID, just scan his card. You have to place it at a certain location at the windscreen.
Right.
Beep him, it took the money.
Wow.
This is already, you know, this I'm talking, how many years now? You know, over 5 years.
Yes, yeah.
So it's there. I also support, because I really, you know, I think we can make more money from that.
Yeah,
Really. So the technologies are there already.
Right.
It's just a matter of the will to do it, and we're good to go.
Yeah. Okay. Let me come to Mr. Donikwame and find out from you if there are any sectors that are lagging in terms of, you know, the deployment of or adopting digital trade solutions, and what, you know, encouragement would you give to such sectors?
Let me just add a few points to what he just raised.
Yes.
At ICC, we also have our own platform. We call it the ICC One Click, which is supposed to help businesses to seize global trade opportunities on that same platform, to help you to draft contracts, to execute business transactions, and also to prevent and solve disputes. Since we're well known for our ICC International Court of Arbitration.
Yes.
And these platforms are there to support. And I remember he mentioned the ICC Entrepreneurial Hubs. Currently we have about 4 in Africa, Ghana, Lagos, Nairobi, Casablanca, so at least the north, the south, east, and west. And then we also have hubs in South America, where we do communicate with each other on market opportunities. So members have that privilege. Those who are members have registered to be part of the ICC Entrepreneurial Hub, have access to all these market information that they need. And as to areas that needs support. From what you just mentioned, I had a privilege of attending the China International Supply Chain Expo. And to tell you the truth, I was amazed at the latest technologies that were available. And I met a couple of CEOs, the kind of businesses they are doing in Ghana. I know the current government is looking at PPPs when it comes to infrastructure development. I think the NDC calls it the big push. And you would expect that if we can't borrow from the international markets, then definitely you need investors, public-private partners, investors to invest in constructing our roads. And as he just mentioned, a good package would be for the investor to know that after constructing, let's say, 6 lanes, 3 lanes in and out to maybe Kumasi or Takoradi or Tamale, I can deploy the system whereby the money for my road toll can be deducted without any human interface.
Yeah.
Why not? It makes it very easier for investors to buy into a project of that nature. And it's still taxing with the issue of the Ghana card, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
That for a thing like that to work, you should have a system whereby people can be identified easily, so that once the car it's going, it's being towed.
Yeah.
The fees can be deducted on the windscreen easily. Yeah.
Right.
And the driver can also be identified, as we saw at the MPS Terminal 3.
Absolutely.
These systems do exist, and we really don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to package these things and then attract the right investment.
Absolutely. My name is Sylvie from Tema 3. Talking about digital trade and the usage of ICOMs, which was meant to harness and facilitate a paperless system, there seems to be a lot of system glitches, which ICOMs and even port scanners, that's MPS, is affecting the supply chain. Please ask Mr. Angmo the way forward to achieving a better and smooth digital system with an alternative backup plan, if possible.
Okay, so the history of ICOMs is that every vendor comes with the template, and most of the time they customize the system. Okay, and so what started off with the initial problem that they had is because it wasn't completely done, but then it had to go live.
Right.
Okay, and so obviously when that happens, you have all these glitches that still persist. But the thing is, we met the head of ICOMs at our last supply chain summit.
Okay.
I actually hosted the panel. So there are still works being done. It's just that I expected by now, we should have moved way forward.
Right.
I currently do not know the major hurdles in ICOMs. But at the time I knew that there was progress being made in fixing. So it's a system.
Right.
It's just that sometimes it needs to be hastened. Now, as of this is a national system, so you can't just flip it, like that. So I know that the best way around it is for the bugs to say, or the hitches to be fixed.
Yeah.
However, I believe in what I was talking about, maybe we'll call it a Department of Digital Services Efficiency.
Right. Okay.
Call it maybe .se or something. From what Dodgy, yeah, .se. I think that is something we are missing out in our digitalization agenda.
Right.
We need to sit and say, okay, we've implemented this for 5 years. Where have we achieved our aim 100%?
You do an evaluation. An
Evaluation.
audit and evaluation.
You see, I see that we're not doing that across board. So if we would do that, then a team can be set to push to fix all these things.
Right.
It's better to fix them because it's a huge system, than to say, let's flip it.
Right.
So that's what I would say to that.
There are those that also are of the opinion that if we don't slow down on digitalization and technology and all those things, there are people that are also going to be rendered redundant or jobless.
No.
We had that.
Yeah, we had that.
Right.
And ICC is taking it up, and we've outlined 4 pillars for our global AI governance.
Right.
From the perspective of business, we think we should have a general principles of codes of conduct.
Right.
Regulation, as I mentioned earlier, technology standards, and an industry self-regulation. And this based on the whole issue of our global shared values, which has to do with equality, transparency, accountability, fairness, and the most important, privacy.
Yes.
And then a human-centric approach to everything.
Right.
AI may take away people's jobs, but you realize that the bottom line is people want decent jobs to be able to go home and then take care of the family.
Yeah.
What I observed in China, in as much as they've deployed all the technology at the supply chain summit, I raised concern about what I saw about it's believed to be the biggest mine in the world at the moment, but it's in Africa. I'll mention the country where they've deployed driverless cars, excavating, digging, and the one manning the whole operations is somewhere millions of miles away, and you have trucks just doing the work.
Controlling everything from.
The system is just working efficiently 24/7. With only 5 with only 5 cars being driven by humans.
Yeah.
And I was like, so what happens? I raised that question that to the politician or to everybody, hey, your job is to create jobs.
Yeah.
And he is of the opinion, you need to diversify. People need to be retrained to acquire new skills.
Right.
And then the pace at which things are moving, we need to also step up.
Right.
I think he will be able to explain himself, but I still believe we still have an issue. Because I raised that issue at the summit.
Right.
That I still have an issue with that.
it. Yeah.
Those were the viewpoints of Emmanuel Donny Kwame and Anthony Angmo of ICC-Ghana. For more on this conversation, you can find the extended version of this episode on our YouTube channel. Now let us hear a few comments you have shared with us on this subject after we will go on break and then return with more news. Stay tuned.
Engineer Nati says, good evening, good discussion. Please ask the panel how we can create the digital economy within Accra, Lomé, Abidjan, and Abuja corridors in terms of physical infrastructure, systems, and areas of specialization for each country within the maritime industry.
Harmonization of our rules. With AI creeping in, there's been the need for countries not to set up their own individual rules.
Right.
If we're looking at the corridor as a market, Nigeria should not have its own rules vis-a-vis Ghana. Then it comes to infrastructure. Roaming is still an issue. We should have a way of Ghanaians traveling to Nigeria and being able to use their phones. And then the next thing has to do with the technology standards itself. And then the industry itself self-regulating itself. That's very important.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefi. Goil, good energy. Ja, ya, ya.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back, viewers. Now let us take our lenses to the global stage and see what is happening there.
The U.S. Navy has partnered with Saildrone to double its fleet of unmanned vessels monitoring drug trafficking routes in the Eastern Pacific and the Caribbean. 20 Saildrone voyage units, equipped with advanced sensors, will assist Joint Interagency Task Force South and U.S. Fourth Fleet in detecting illicit maritime activity. These cost-effective high-endurance drones enhance surveillance in areas difficult for manned vessels to cover. The operation targets smuggling corridors near Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and emerging threats closer to U.S. waters. German shipping giant Hapag-Lloyd has christened its 9th LNG dual-fuel 23,660 TEU container ship, Bangkok Express, at Hanwha Ocean's Okpo shipyard in South Korea. The vessel, part of the Hamburg Express class, will operate in the Far East North Europe service under the Germany network, reducing emission by up to 25%. This marks another step in Hapag-Lloyd's push for greener shipping, alongside its $4 billion financing deal for 24 additional LNG dual-fuel vessels.
Now, to our Word of the Day segment today, we'll tell you what we mean by trafficking in the maritime context.
Trafficking. Trafficking refers to the illegal transportation of goods or people by sea, often involving activities such as drug smuggling, human trafficking, or arms smuggling. These illicit operations exploit maritime routes to move contraband or individuals across borders, frequently utilizing various types of vessels to evade detection by authorities.
Now, for a health and safety tip, we will tell you why it is important for divers to use diving mask or scuba mask.
Diving mask. A diving mask or scuba mask refers to an item of diving equipment that allows underwater divers, including scuba divers, free divers, and snorkelers, to see clearly underwater. Diving masks can be fitted with prescription lenses for divers needing optical correction to improve vision. Diving without masks, you wouldn't be able to see well enough to read your gauges, putting you in an unsafe situation, and your eyes will stink.
Let us now take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berthed in the ports of Tema and Takoradi, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. This brings us to the close of today's edition of Eye on Port. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Eye on Port content can be found on our YouTube channel, Eye on Port. Subscribe, like, and share our videos. Thank you for watching.